share some ideas with you that we know will make an enormous difference in your business growth in the weeks to come. And as I was mentioning, definitely have something handy to take notes. We've got a lot to cover. We don't want to rush this, but we also want to be respectful of time. So please just take as many notes as you can. And at the very end, if you need anything to be clarified or you have questions, I'm happy to stick around, and Carla can too. But otherwise, we're just thrilled that you're here. And I do, of course, always have slides. There's my fun little slide deck here. Let me just bring this up, make sure it's working. And I always like to double check. I once made the mistake of like thinking my slides were working and they weren't. And I was about 10 minutes into the presentation before I realized that was not happening. So would you please let me know if you can see the slides there on the screen? It should say succeed without selling. Simple, non-salesy strategies to attract hundreds of customers and team members. Brilliant. All right, very good. Well, I suspect you're here for a couple of reasons, but my guess is that there was something in the title of this series that resonated with you, because I've certainly discovered that through the 25 years I've been around the network marketing profession, that this is a profession that just has the most amazing people in it. And whatever company you're with, my guess is you've got some amazing products. I mean, there's truly just some incredible products and services that are provided through network marketing and direct selling companies. You have a life-changing business opportunity, without a doubt. And if there's, a common stumbling block or a challenge that most people, as they're trying to build a business, it's that they really hate this sort of, idea of having to be salesy, of having to use like those old school selling techniques. Depending on what's going on in your company, perhaps there's some spammy, sort of traditional ways that people try to share the business or find customers. I think companies these days are evolving and things are getting a lot more elegant. But my guess is if you're here, like us, you really want to be successful, but you don't want to use those kind of slimy techniques or have to hassle your family and friends to be successful in business. So let me check in. Is that true? All of you here, is that the philosophy you subscribe to as well? It's like, imagine if you could build, a six-figure and beyond business and do this in a way that's just like so elegant and so professional, and that actually created enormous value for people along the way. And that through that like level of professionalism, you could actually attract people into your team who would never have considered being involved in network marketing, but you're so darn classy and effective that people are starting to pay more attention and they're actually excited to get involved. Like, what if that could really be possible? And we know that it is, because we're living proof. The leaders that have been collaborating with me through this series have all built a multiple 6 and 7 and multiple 7-figure businesses. And the reason I mentioned that I so love collaborating with these women is we all come from the heart. We create as much value for people as we can along the way. And I think, to the best of our ability, we're really trying to represent this new way of doing business, and that you can be very professional and elegant and authentic and still be very successful financially. So I know I mentioned earlier that Amy is traveling today, but very quickly, Jules, Sarah, do you want to just say hi to get you on the recording here? Carla and I are going to talk a lot through the rest of this presentation, but if you were on the first webinar, you've already met Sarah Zalecki, who is just incredible at social media. And thank you again for sharing all those fantastic ideas last week using Facebook groups. If you want to say a quick hi here, I'll just let you take the mic.
Okay, awesome. Well, I don't have a lot to say because I'm here to learn today. So, but hi everybody. It's so good to see you guys. I appreciate you so much for being on. It just, one of the biggest lessons I ever learned inside of direct sales and network marketing is that it's really about the show up. And all of you guys showed up today. You committed, you're on here, you're ready to learn. And really a lot of time that's half the battle. And so I just honor you so much for being here, and just you're ready to level up and take your business to the next level. And I applaud that so much. And I'm just excited to have you here. And I'm excited to learn today, just like you are. So I'll pass it back to you.
Love it. Thank you very much. And Jules, would you like to say a quick hi? I know the training you did last week, we heard so much positive feedback on that. People loved your examples, your stories. I love that card example that you gave. I thought that was just brilliant. The card training technique that you use. And yeah, please, I know you have to leave a bit early today, but please feel free to say hello and add anything you want here before we jump in.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for all the feedback that I got. And I'm so happy that that system, the binder system, is something that people resonate with. I think when Sonia asked people to list like their biggest takeaways, I was blown away by how many people really connected to that. And then I saw even in this chat feed how many people have started implementing some of the verbiage that I was talking about, and how much that's already helped them, that they love it. So it's great to hear. That's what we're here for, is to share things that have worked for us. And I think that's what's kind of neat, is that we are all in this every day doing it as well. So that's, you know, it's pretty hard to teach something that you don't do yourself. And I think that's why we're all really passionate about, oh, my light just exploded, passionate about saying, you know, hey, this has worked for me. We know it's going to work for you as well. So thank you all so much.
Love it. And I'm looking at the chat. It's impressive how many people have gone out and got a binder and
I
starting to
know.
follow your system. You're starting a whole new
That's so cool.
trend here, Jules. That's awesome. Wow. Well done. Well, thank you.
Darn, I should have sold binders and then, yeah, like put Jules' binder.
Exactly. Your
Yeah.
own customized
Instead,
system.
I'm helping Staples. What can you do? Yeah.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, just like before, our goal is that by the end of this session, you walk away with at least a couple of awesome ideas that you can go use right away. We know if you take even one great idea from a training like this and you actually use it, things change. So our goal is to make sure in the time we've got, we can do that. And by the end of this, you know, if you do love this kind of philosophy and you'd like to learn more ideas like that, we do have a way for you to do that too. And I promise you, it is super affordable. Like there's not a person here who couldn't afford to do this if you decide to get involved. So we'll tell you that a little bit more towards the end. And I mentioned too, we have a gift for those of you that are here today. I'll tell you how to get that at the end as well. But the Believe conference that I mentioned, I am so glad that I thought beforehand, we need to record this, because we captured that entire weekend on video. And I just love this training. I've heard people go through it, say it's some of the best training they've ever seen in network marketing. And we have a way for you to actually get a copy of that entire video program for free. We usually sell it for $297, but if you guys stick around, I'll tell you how you can get that too. So little teaser there. And just to quickly review, this webinar series, we're covering a lot of different ideas, but there's really a framework or a system that we've all used in different ways to get from like a brand new business to 6 figures, multiple 6 figures and 7 figures. And if you're looking at most of the things you're doing in your business right now, I'm pretty sure they're going to fall into these 5 steps, these categories. So if you want to jot them down real quick, you know, the first thing you need to do to get a business going, obviously, is you have to find the right leads, right? And you don't want just any leads. You want leads that are genuinely going to be open to your products, your business, that have a need, and that are the most likely people to say yes. And when you can find those people, the next most important thing then is you have to use the right language, because you can have the cure to cancer, but if you're not communicating in a way that other people can recognize the value of what you're sharing, it's going to be really tough. But when you get that down, and we're going to talk about that here today, it's so exciting, because when you're talking to people and they light up and they see the value in what you're sharing, you're just going to want to go out and find as many people as possible. And that's really what step 3 is. Leverage is about getting yourself in front of big crowds of people so that you can find those ideal prospects, you can talk to them and get them excited about what you do. And if you do that really well, then you're going to, the byproduct of that is you're going to have a huge team. And the 4th step here is all about leadership. It's knowing how to lead your team, how to coach your team, how to be productive with your time so you don't burn out. And there's even some opportunities in here for self-leadership, because as our teams grow, we have to grow too and become better people. So that's what the leadership piece is all about. And then ultimately what happens, and we've seen it here amongst this group, we've seen it amongst some of our peers, is when your business is doing incredibly well, the natural thing we all want to do is give back. And that's what the legacy piece is. So some people use their businesses to fund charities. Some people use their businesses to create awareness for things that are important to them. Some people use the business and they set it up so that their family members can take it over and inherit that asset that they're building. So these 5 steps ultimately are the grand plan, and we like to keep things simple. So just keep that in mind as we go through. Everything we're teaching, it basically falls into these 5 steps. And I promise you, if you learn and master these 5 steps, you could build any kind of business you want for yourself and for your family. So last time we talked a lot about leads. Today we're going to talk about language. And like Carla and I have been saying, we are thrilled thrilled to have the opportunity to share these ideas because when you know how to communicate effectively about your products, about your business, it is so much easier to get people interested and curious. You'll find many more will say, okay, tell me about this. How does this work? It's a lot easier to convert those leads into customers and team members. And ultimately, if you can do this in a very elegant way, like we said, you will attract people, specifically professionals and other business people that may not have taken network marketing seriously before. So not only does this make you a better communicator, but it will help you attract a whole different caliber of team as well around that. So why is language so important? Well, let me just check in with you. How many of you here, just let me know in the chat, you've got an amazing product, you've got this life-changing business, and you know people, like either people in your family, people in your personal life, friends, coworkers, maybe people that you just meet through your everyday activities. You know those people like really need your product. They absolutely need it. You've met people along the way that, especially this last year, that definitely need a second income. And yet when you talk to them, they just don't get it. It's obvious, like they don't understand it. They're giving you all kinds of excuses. I don't have time. I'm not a salesperson. This is too expensive, right? How many of you have had that happen? And is it not the most frustrating thing in the world when you know what you have is that helpful, that valuable to people, and yet they just don't get it? There's something in the communication that isn't landing, and it's incredibly frustrating. And that's really the biggest hurdle I think we all have to overcome in business development, is just to learn to communicate more effectively. And think about this. Think if I actually did have the cure to cancer. Now this is just an example. I obviously don't, but if I did, like, let's say in my company, we literally had the cure to cancer. And yet I spoke Swedish. We've got a lovely person here today from Sweden. And you're here as an English audience. And let's say I'm here trying to tell you about how amazing my product is, but I'm speaking Swedish. There's literally one person here that would actually understand what I was saying, right? So even though I have this amazing product, if I'm not speaking your language, chances are you're not going to understand a word of what I'm saying. And that's what often happens in business. We start to communicate in ways about our products or our business that make sense to us, but they don't make sense to other people. We use jargon, we use certain words, we get lost in all the features and the details, and our poor prospects just get lost along the way. And it is incredibly frustrating when what you have is so valuable, but you can just see something's getting lost in translation. So let me check in. How many of you can relate to that? Do you sense that at times? Like, you can see this person needs it, but there's just something in the way you're talking or describing things. It's just not landing, right? Okay, brilliant. So this is actually a breakthrough moment for all of you, because this awareness is where everything changes. And this is what happened to me. Like, I realized if I wasn't getting these positive responses, it wasn't because I didn't have an amazing product. And it wasn't because I didn't have an amazing business. It's that I didn't know how to talk about it. And I'm guessing that's true for you too. If you're not where you want to be in business, it's probably not what you're doing, it's what you're saying that's a big part of the issue. And I can guarantee it's costing you a lot in lost opportunity, lost customers, lost team members. It certainly did for me. And it's really not your fault. Like, I think it's really important for us to all realize business has evolved a lot in the last decade. What worked even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, for sure doesn't work today. A lot of the training in some companies is very antiquated. Like, most people have they haven't really been taught how to effectively communicate about their products and their business. And that's why most people are giving you all those excuses. If you're hearing a lot of objections, it's because people don't see value. I can guarantee it. When you get really good at this approach, you will notice a dramatic decrease in objections. And there's still ways you can elegantly handle those. But oftentimes when you hear all those fluffy objections, what the person's really saying is, I don't see a value here for me. It's just not worth it to me to purchase this or to get involved. And it's not that the value isn't there, it's that they're not picking up on that in the communication. And I mean, I used to do this all the time. I bet every mentor here on the call with me has been in this place. I used to have this product that I represented that was so incredibly valuable. I mean, I just knew it was life-changing. And yet I didn't know how to communicate effectively about it. When I was talking to people, I would see that they just didn't get it. I would start to panic because I'm like, this isn't going well. And so I just thought, well, the more excited and enthusiastic I get, the more they've got to see the value in this, right? And instead, this is what I used to see looking back at me all the time. Like most of my prospects gave me that complete deer in the headlights, right? And I would just try and get more enthusiastic and ultimately just turn people off and lost the opportunity completely. So how many of you, I'm sure, have seen this type of gaze looking back at you when you've been talking to somebody about your business, your products? Yes, absolutely. And there is a really simple solution. And that's what I was saying earlier. What you're going to notice first is when you start using these magic words that we're going to share with you, you will first notice that people respond differently. Like they actually hear you. It's like you finally learned how to speak English to an English speaking person. Like they finally start to comprehend what you're saying. And for me, when I first learned this years ago, I mean, it really was one of these light bulb moments because I realized, it's so much simpler to speak this way. It's makes it so much easier for other people to see value. And, it's just one of those things like you can't believe we haven't learned this sooner. And when I started using this, I mean, it radically changed my business. I have to say, of all the things I've learned, this was the turning point for me. And if I had to point to one skill, one strategy that ultimately has created all this success for me, it would be magic words for sure. As you can see here, I built a multiple seven-figure business from home, a huge network of people. And although I've learned a lot about social media and other things too, if I didn't have magic words, none of that would have worked. So I'm just that excited about the potential of this. And I just want to share real quick, over the years, I've had a chance to now share this with over 100,000 people in network marketing. And we used to do these studies and we would track people's results, like as they went through the course that I led. And it was so exciting to see, like, even in a month, people's results changed. Like, here's just a couple of examples. Yvonne in Australia, her sales went up 30%. She recruited 6 new leaders in the last month. Natalie went out and recruited 3 new business builders within the first week of learning this approach. Cassandra, 50% more bookings. My sales grew 40%, recruited 2 new business people, 3 new people, promoted to the next level of my plan. Donna, within a month, my sales jumped 40%. Tracy, 6 meetings scheduled. These are just quick examples, but I share these because I just truly want you to get how important this is. And as we go through this, a part of you may go, well, that's really simple. Is that it? Is that really all it takes? It really is. But the more you practice this and the more fluent you get with magic words, you will see a massive change everywhere in your business. So just keep that in mind as we go through, take some notes. And like I said, at the very end, if you need some additional coaching or help, I'm happy to share that. But I want to start off just by quickly talking about the most common mistake everybody makes. And I guarantee I've made it. I'm pretty sure Carla's made this, Jules, Sarah, anybody in business makes this mistake because it's just a very natural mistake. And what it often comes down to is when we're trying to get people excited about the product or the business, we end up talking about the product or the business. And you might be thinking, well, that's what we're supposed to do, Sonia. But what I mean by that is, like, we get very lost in describing the actual product. We start talking about the details involved with the product or the information. If you've got, really unique wellness products or beauty products, sometimes there's some very cool science or some very cool ingredients behind those products. So it's very natural for us to get caught up talking about that and thinking that by sharing all this impressive information, of course, people are going to get excited. Or sometimes, we'll get caught up describing like the weight loss program we have and how it works and how within 30 days, if you do all these things, you're going to see these kinds of changes. It's very tempting with companies because many of you have got fantastic companies that are operating all over the world and have got amazing leaders. And we think if we just talk a lot about the company, well, people will see the value, of course, right? Or maybe we get lost in the compensation plan or the leadership or the market opportunity. I've seen actual company, videos on their websites go into a lot of depth about kind of market analysis and why, this product is so needed right now, which of course it's all very helpful information, but I really want you to write this down and keep this in mind. This is not why people buy. People do not buy for information. They don't buy for stats. They don't buy for ingredients. There's a whole other reason that people buy. And when we get lost in all these details, on some level, people start to check out because it doesn't mean anything to them. Like, okay, the science sounds interesting, but really, what does that mean to me? I don't see the connection there. If we get caught up talking about the business and the comp plan, it's a lot of information. People get very overwhelmed, and oftentimes they start to check out. They don't see how that correlates to their actual lifestyle or what that's going to mean to them. So it's not that that information isn't important. It's just not what we want to lead with, because people actually buy and join your team for a completely different reason. And what we want to do, the one shift, I guarantee if you just really get good at this, you're going to notice a change. What you ultimately want to do is you want to talk about what your products or your business can do for people. Like if someone uses your product, what happens for them? What's the benefit? What's the result? What's the experience that they get to have? Same with your business. If someone joins your team, what happens for them through the business? It's not about the business, it's about what the business does for them. And when we get better at talking about those end results or those benefits or those experiences, it truly is like a light bulb moment, and people start to listen very differently. So I just put together some kind of quick examples here to help this be relevant for all the different products and whatnot. But this would be a typical, kind of exaggerated, but pretty typical way we talk about a product, right? We get lost in the scientific formulations and the advancements and all these cool ingredients and how amazing this is. And, we've got this incredible proprietary 5-step system, and we go on and on and on, and people just, their eyes glaze over and they kind of get lost. Versus, if you talk about what the product can do for people, if it's a skincare product, if you help that person see that by using your product, they can have clear, radiant looking skin. That's a benefit, right? Or a result that people want. That's why they're going to spend money on the product. The ingredients might be interesting, but the benefit is what motivates their purchase. Same with weight loss, right? Instead of getting caught up talking about all the pieces of the system and the amazing ingredients, again, it's interesting, but what they're really wanting to hear is this product going to help me lose weight? Is it going to help me get in shape? And that kind of benefit is pretty compelling for people who want that kind of result. If you sell jewelry, right? Same thing, rather than get caught up describing the jewelry, where it's made, all those things, you just want to help people see this product, this jewelry can help you pull together some stylish new looks, even if you have a small budget. That's a result or an experience, right? That happens by using jewelry. Travel services, even though that's a pretty kind of no-brainer thing to share with people because everybody loves to travel. Rather than get caught up talking about the plan, though, what you want people to see, especially families, is if they use that travel service, they're going to be able to take exciting trips anywhere in the world, especially with their kids, right? That's the experience that they get by using your service. Same with the business, and it's really easy because the business is such an amazing thing to maybe, hype it up a bit and overstate it. We've got this amazing ground floor opportunity. It's an emerging market, get in now, right? All this sort of typical salesy stuff you hear about the business opportunity. But today, consumers are just so overwhelmed with that kind of language that the moment you start using it, they will tune out, just like in this image. So we want to get really clear about the benefits of the business. What happens if someone actually starts a business like this? Well, ultimately, you can make extra money to cover your monthly bills. That's a really simple benefit, right? That is pretty attractive to a lot of people. My business can help you save money on your taxes each year. Most people don't realize just how much money you can save on taxes by simply having a home-based business that you operate even on a very part-time level. I mean, that's a huge benefit. And if you can get good at articulating that, that in and of itself could be a reason that someone joins your team. If you're talking to a mom who's got young kids, the business is now the way she gets to spend quality time with her kids, right? That is an important experience to a mom. And if she can see this business is her vehicle to get that result, now the business is a lot more interesting to her, right? Talking to baby boomers or people getting ready to retire, this business is the way they get to save extra money for retirement. So these are just examples of the different kinds of results or benefits that you can stress depending on what your product is. And please write this down. This is a really important exercise. I know we have some people here who've worked with me in the Business Academy and you've gone through this with me in detail. But if you walk away today and just go do this exercise, it'll really help. To find the benefits, like the real clear, compelling benefits of your product or your service, all you need to do is ask why. Why is always the magic question. So just ask yourself after the session here, Why do people need my products? Why do people need the opportunity? And there's usually one of two reasons. There's a problem they're trying to solve, like they're overweight, or they've got aging skin, or they can't pay their bills, right? Those are specific problems that your business or product could solve. Or they're looking for a particular kind of result or solution. But if you can take some time and just think that through, like, why do people really need this? And think about the exact problems that your product solves. Think about the exact kinds of results or experiences people get by using your product. And you create kind of a master list of those kinds of words. That's the beginning of creating some really awesome magic word sentences. And here's the formula I'd encourage you to jot down. And this is something you can work on afterwards. We can come back and talk more about this at the end. But it can be this simple. If you can simply say this to prospects: my products can help you blank. My products can help you solve this kind of problem. My products can help you get this kind of result. Whatever you want to put in the blank is up to you. But my products can help you lose weight and feel incredibly fit. That's a very specific benefit, right? My products can help you eliminate brown spots so you feel attractive and young again, right? Very specific kind of benefit. Or your business: my business can help you pay down your student debt so that you can purchase a home and get ahead in life, right? Very specific benefit. My business can help you have a secondary income in case we ever have a crazy experience like we did this last year. Very, very specific benefit, right? And it's as simple as this phrase, and just keeping things crystal clear. Another quick tip, in terms of language, oftentimes I think we fall into the trap of trying to sound sophisticated and complex. Sales or influence, especially if you want it to be authentic, is about simplicity. So the simpler these phrases are, the easier it is for people to get it, the faster you'll notice them respond. And this is a great thing to keep in mind too. When you're talking to people, think about this: you're selling the destination, not the airplane, right? If you love to travel like me, I get excited about where I'm going, the destination. I really don't care that much about the kind of plane, as long as it's safe and it's going to get me there. I don't care if it's this kind of model or that kind of model or this airline, right? I want to get to the destination. And that's the truth for your prospects. They get excited to buy from you or join your team if you can paint a picture of that destination in a way that's really compelling. That's why people get motivated and take action. All right. And then real quick, I just want to add this in too, because this little tweak, this little bit of finessing can almost double your sales results sometimes. I've seen that when I've done it well and I haven't done it well. It's very obvious to me what a difference this next little piece makes. And maybe you're already fairly competent about talking about benefits. Maybe that's something that you've learned from other people, or you've picked up from your company. But the reason that it's really important to do this next step is I think this is even an understatement. I think that the latest studies show it's somewhere between 3,000 to 5,000 marketing messages a day. Think about that. Like, if you're on social media, if you're watching TV, if you're driving down the road, we're just bombarded with commercials and ads and marketing messages. So we have learned to quickly tune out anything that sounds like an ad. If it sounds salesy, or it sounds kind of pitchy, or it sounds like everything else that everybody else is saying, we tend to ignore it. And so if you're, say, on social media and you're talking to people about your product or your business, sometimes just using words like make more money, it sounds kind of salesy. It sounds kind of like every other ad they've heard that day. Or better sleep, or work from home, or have more energy. There's still helpful benefits. So, at least if people are doing this, they're halfway there. But what can really take your conversions to the next level is to refine your messaging, and how you fire that up and how you add gasoline to your communication is to include one thing. And I really hope you take this away and really consider this and work with this as you go forward, because people do not buy your products or join your team, sometimes even for the benefits. What they're really after is the feeling they expect to get when they have that result or that benefit. And money is a great example, right? If you say to people, hey, my business can help you make more money, that's a nice benefit. But what people really want through that is a feeling. It's a feeling of safety, security, connection, freedom. People have different emotional experiences attached to losing weight or having more money or having younger looking skin. And when you can name that, when you can include that in your description, now you're speaking to the part of that person's heart and brain that makes the decision. So people buy for emotional reasons, and then they often justify with the logic and the science and all the other things you can share with them. But bottom line, if you can keep your messaging more emotional, if you can make sure when you're talking to people, you include those feelings in the description, you'll notice people respond even more. So real quick, an example of how you can do that. We'll just go back to these other examples. So skincare product, my product can help you have clear, radiant skin. That's a really nice benefit. But how do people feel when they have clear, radiant looking skin? Gorgeous, attractive, higher degree of confidence, self-esteem, turn heads when you walk in the room. Can you hear? Like, that's what people really want. You know, the skin is nice, want to look good, but it's how we expect to feel with that result that really motivates us. Same with weight loss. You know, my product can help you lose weight, get in great shape, but what's the result of that? What's the benefit of the benefit or the feeling they get to experience? Usually it has something to do. Oh, hang on, my slides are misbehaving here. Oh, that's weird. Hold on a sec. There it is. Sorry, I've got windows on windows. So you can feel confident and attractive. So a higher degree of self-esteem, confidence, how it would feel to put your skinny jeans on, look in the mirror, right? Like that experience is what people really want through the process of losing weight. Even something as simple as jewelry, right? Yeah, you can definitely pull together some stylish new looks, but how does that make somebody feel? They feel attractive, they stand out, they turn heads when they walk in the room. You know, if you tell that to a prospect and they can imagine that in their mind, it's like, wow, that's what I want. That's the kind of experience I really want to have. Travel, you know, why do people want to have trips with their family? Usually it's because there's this sense of connection or the fun that they're going to have together that they'll talk about for years, right? That's what's important to a mom and a dad. It's not just taking the kids around the world. It's what they expect will happen and how they'll feel as a family through that experience. Same with your business. You know, people want to make more money to cover their bills, but why? So they don't feel as stressed, right? Just helping people see that you don't have to feel something can also be really important too. Saving money on taxes, nice idea, great benefit, but really that gives people an extra benefit of having the freedom or the ability to have more fun with their family, right? Go out and spend money and do things, spend money on the things that are really important to them. You know, why does a mom want to spend more quality time with her kids? Because she wants to be a hands-on mom. She wants to feel the joy and the connection and be there for her kids during those years that are really, really important. Even baby boomers, right? Saving money for retirement is a great idea. It's a great result. But what they're likely really motivated to do is to feel secure, right? They want to sleep better at night. They want to know that their finances are taken care of. They're going to be able to spend more time with their kids and their grandkids. And so that feeling element, even though it's so simple, I'd highly encourage you to spend some time and really think about those emotions and then figure out ways to tie those into your languaging. So just go back to that question again, you know, how do people feel? If someone gets to lose weight through my product, how is that going to make them feel? Or what is the feeling they're trying to avoid? Sometimes talking about it in that way can be really helpful. If you've got wellness products, you know, and someone can actually really experience great health, how is that going to make them feel? What's the experience that's really behind that? If someone has more money through your business, you know, what's that going to look like? And then this variation on the magic words formula makes it really easy. So if you can write out that first version, my products can help you blank, then you can just add this second little part. So you can blank. My products can help you lose weight, so you can feel more confident and attractive and have higher self-esteem, if that makes sense. My business can help you save money on taxes so that you get to experience more fun with your family and have money to take them on trips. There's either a bigger benefit or a feeling that's often on the back end of those kind of initial benefits. And when you can talk to that and name that, that makes a huge difference in how people respond. Because again, let me check real quick. For those of you here, when you're talking to prospects and they decide to join your team or buy your products, is that an emotional decision or is that a logical decision? It's a mixture of both, but which of those has more influence, would you say, on people's actions? Yeah, emotional, right? And we forget that in sales. We get And that's why, you know, if you're telling people about all the science or the ingredients, that's lovely, but that's logical. We have to get emotional. If you can talk about feelings and experiences and help people picture that in their head, it creates a whole different relationship to your product, to your service, to your business, and you'll just see people respond very, very differently. All right, well, that was my quick little piece of the magic words. And Carla, I'm so thrilled you're going to share this piece because it is like the perfect complement to what I just shared. And I'm going to let Carla take over here, but I know too, she's way too humble to brag about herself. So I just want you to appreciate Carla has made it to the top of 6 network marketing companies. That's how incredibly talented this woman is. And like all of us here, you know, the one thing I admire about her is she's incredibly genuine. She is very authentic. She's not a salesy person in any way. And not only is she really great at language, she's also brilliant at automation and processes. And so in the coming webinars, she's going to teach you a little bit more about that, how you can literally take elements of your business and put it together to create a bit more of a push button kind of structure. But I know messaging is a huge talent of yours, Carla. So I'm going to turn over the mic and let you put up your slides.
Thank you so much.
Talk a little bit more about that. You're welcome.
Was that not awesome, everybody? Did you not just love that? Oh my goodness, that's going to help so many people. So many people. Just that mind. So I'm always saying to my students, think about everything from the prospect's point of view. And the whole time you were presenting, I was thinking about it's the destination, not the plane. Like if you want to go to Hawaii, you want to go to Hawaii. Right? You don't really care how you fly there, what's going to be served at lunch, although sometimes, right? We want to get there and we want to get all of that beautiful tan and relaxed feeling that we get when we go on vacation. So I'm going to share something with you guys that has been near and dear to my heart because I mentioned this at the very beginning. I am what I would consider a painful introvert. So I actually had to find ways early on, because I've been in this industry now a long time, since I almost don't want to say it, like since 2004. So it's been a long time. So I've seen the industry completely change, where we had to talk to people. So where we didn't have to, and back to talking to humans. And I love the human to human interconnection, but I had to do it in a way that felt good for me. And for those of you that are out there that might be introverts, that'll serve you, but it doesn't matter. If you're introvert, extrovert, etc., I'm going to share with you how to answer the dreaded, what do you do, in a way that is not salesy, doesn't make you feel awkward, and attracts your perfect prospect and repels in the nicest way possible somebody that is not your prospect at all. So how many people here, and so while I'm getting my slides together, give me an idea in the chat of how many people here might be a little bit of an introvert. And in the meantime, I need to be able to share my screen. If you could help me out there, Sonia, that would be awesome.
Just a moment here. There we go.
Introvert, sometimes me. Well, Sonia just helped you guys out a lot. And I would really recommend give yourself an assignment to do the exercise that she shared with you today. And I'm going to share an exercise with you at the end of my short presentation here that will, you'll require a partner. So hold on one second here. So the name of my short presentation is Ditch Your Pitch and Craft Your Juicy, super attractive, magnetic, repelling to the people that you don't want to work with 30-second intro, so that you can attract the right people to your business builders that are ready to actually get to work, customers that are excited about buying your prospects. Again, everything that we do with all of these amazing individuals that we're presenting here, we're all about not being pitchy, salesy, slimy, and giving you the tools that you require so you're confident, you lose the nervousness, and the answers to all of the things that happen, whether in real life or on lives or in Messenger or wherever you're communicating with another human being, that you can step forward confidently and ditch any kind of nervous reaction. You can feel really good about what you're doing. But guys, this was me. When someone, everywhere we went and everywhere you go, at some point, someone says, "What do you do?" And so I'd be in places, maybe wine tasting in Napa or at the grocery store or at somebody's party. And I just knew someone was going to ask me what I did, because we, at least here in the United States, and I know there's cultures around the world where this doesn't happen, but the very first thing, the icebreaker that comes out of everybody's mouth is, what do you do? And seriously, I had some really awful answers. I had answers like I'd mumble something and like pretend that, oh, you know, oh, and what do you do? Right? I wouldn't answer the question. Or I would, when I first started, and this is a mistake that lots and lots of network marketers do, which makes sense. I said, I'm a rep for X company. And that there's nowhere to go with that because nobody understands what the heck that is. And plus, I am a rep, and I totally understand where that comes from, because when you get started in a job, you get business cards and it says you are an account director with Time Warner or whatever it is, right? So I would say that. And then the best one ever. I was at a wine tasting in Napa Valley at Honig Wines, fancy pantsy. And someone said, what do you do? And I'm like, you know, those people that work from home and make a lot of money, that's me. And the person I was talking to turned around and walked away from me, deservedly. That was the most retarded, horrible thing to ever say. So we're gonna solve that problem here today, right now, because for a long time I totally choked when someone asked me what I did, and then I figured out another way to do that so that I could actually attract people. And when I first started rehearsing this, I couldn't believe how easily it worked. As a matter of fact, the first person I ever said it to said, oh, how do you do that? I want to do that. And I know my sister wants to do that too. And of course I wasn't prepared. So we're going to make sure. I was like, I didn't even know, like, what? She wants to work with me? And then I went to mumbling again. So we're not going to allow you to have that problem here today. We're going to get you an answer that works for you. And again, the cool part is that it will attract the right person. And I don't like the word repel, but I can't think of any other way to say that. So what I mean by the word repel is, you know, when someone answers, like you say, what do you do? And they say, well, I don't know. I fix pools. And maybe you have a pool and you're like, oh, my pool needs to be fixed. But if you don't have a pool, you're like, oh, okay. What do you do? Like, right? It's an okay end to that question. So we're just going to fix that for you here so that when you're networking, whether it's in real life or you're on a Facebook Live, right? When you're on a Facebook Live, you've got to introduce yourself at some point. So the things that I'm going to teach you here today works perfectly for Facebook Lives as well. So this makes it fun and not stressful. How to feel confident in real life and online so that your perfect prospect's going to say, how do I work with you? And realize that I'm not talking about elevator pitches here. When you meet someone, just like what Sonia just taught, what you say is important. And if you're doing it incorrectly, it could cost you cashola. Now, me not being able to answer that question for almost 10 years, can you imagine? Can you even calculate what that might have cost me? And if you're in the same position and you don't quite know how to answer that question, and all of us, even us monster introverts, meet people in real life, even during Corona, right? We still meet people out in the universe, out there in the big wide world. If you're not using the things that Sonia and the rest of these amazing women are teaching you, that could be costing you hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and even maybe millions of dollars. If I had known how to answer that question however long ago, and Sarah Zalecki was in front of me and I had answered it properly, who knows what might have happened, right? Or Jules Price or Sonia Stringer, right? So we want to make sure that you make the most money from your efforts, because if you're going to be here, we want you to be successful and confident. And if you're like me and you dread when someone asks you what to do, this quick presentation is going to be for you, because we're going to kill all the self-doubt. But just like we said at the beginning of our conversation, you've got to do some homework, and you've got to learn this so that it feels, so that the answers to those questions are rolling off your end of your tongue. So when you think about it, the old ways of answering stuff, like the old elevator pitch, think about that. Like I'm just going to make something up on this for the moment. We're going to go with the pool guy, right? So if you're in the elevator and you're going up somewhere and the guy said, yes, I sell $1 million pools for a living for Joe's Pool Company, no one is going to respond to that. And we always think about like these elevator pitches. Well, your answer to what you do, I want you to understand, is not a pitch. It is the furthest thing from a pitch. And you want it to be focused on them and not you. So when Joe, pool guy dude, is talking about what he does when he's going up the elevator, he's talking about the pools. That's not going to get any result for him. That's just basically answering the question. It's way too general. It doesn't have any message about why that anyone should be interested in Joe, the pool guy. And believe me, we want your prospects, the right prospects, to be like the tuning fork or dog whistle, right? Whatever you want them to be like, this woman, I know I want to work with her, or even if it's just, I'm curious about what you do. So if you don't have a super simple, easy way of explaining what you do, or if you wing it like I was doing every single time, like thinking up a new answer every single time someone asked me what we do, what I did, it actually is, it's a negative cycle that you're actually, oh, I did it badly that time, and then I didn't do any homework or figure out how to answer it. So somebody answered me again, I did it worse. And then I was dreading it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to go to this party and people are going to ask me what I do. And then it just becomes this whole self-reinforcing negative confidence cycle. And every single time, at least for me, I opened up my mouth, I felt like I was being publicly humiliated. And it was just my fault. I hadn't figured out, and nobody had taught me how to answer that question other than some guy on a call one time, and I picked it up, said, yeah, I just say, those people that work from home and make a ton of money. And so I said it. Well, how stupid was that, right? I sounded like an idiot. The person that was listening to me turned around and walked away. And of course that kept the self-confidence cycle going down into the toilet. So I want to remind you that you are your business. You are the face of your business. And the cool thing about branding, or how you position yourself, or how you speak about what you do, you can change that today. You do not work for your company, you work for you. And guess what? This is the best part of all of this, and the best part, in my particular opinion, about network marketing. You're here to help people. Whether it's losing weight or retirement or jewelry or skincare or travel, or you're marketing your business, you are here to help people. And that's why being able to articulate how you help people is crucial to them understanding what you do. People, I'm going to echo some of the things that Sonia said. People don't care about your company. They don't care about your products. They want to know what you do. What is it that you help people create in their lives? So here's my formula. It's just almost exactly as the same as what Sonia explained. And she said, my products and biz can help you do X. So here, and you might want to take a picture of this and write it down, because I'm going to suggest that you go and do a little work when we're finished today. So so when someone says, what do you do? I work with or help your ideal customer or client. Now, who is that? Is it single moms? Is it families? Is it women over 50? Is it style conscious millennials? Is it people that are looking to create extra income? Who is your ideal customer? And your ideal customer or client or business builder has 2 eyes, 1 nose, and 1 mouth. It is not a pile of people. So you help millennial, new moms, whatever, right? New moms, people that are 30, whatever that is. So I work with X who wants to or needs. What is it that you do? What did Sonia say? My products and biz can help you. Maybe it's to lose weight and feel great. So I work with naming whoever your ideal customer is or client or business builder who wants then a benefit and another benefit. I'm going to say it again. I work with this person who wants to do this and that. Really super simple. So I'll give you some examples. Here's Melanie. She says, I work with downsized executives who want to build a retirement savings part-time but don't know how. You're at a party, you're a downsized, or even if you're just somebody that works in corporate America or fill in the country name, and someone you say, what do you do? I work with downsized executives who want to build a retirement savings part-time and don't know how. If you're in the market and you're looking and your antenna are up, guess how you're going to answer that? Really? Tell me how. If you're not in the market for that, you're going to say, oh, Melanie, that's cool. What do you do on the weekends? Whatever will be the next question. It's just going to be, it'll be a normal conversation. Here's another example, Megan. She says, I help families with financial challenges who need to get out of debt, create a residual income so they can live the life they love. So her avatar is families with financial challenges and debt that want residual income, juicy benefit number one, so they can live the life they love, benefit number two. And to go back over Sonia's teaching, live the life they love is that emotional piece of the magic words. Hey guys, this couldn't have been perfect because we did not talk to each other before this. So I'll give you a couple examples from other students in my classes. Here's Julie Parker. Actually, she might be on today. She helps smart, savvy women who want to improve their health and energy naturally while creating a recession-proof source of income to live the lifestyle of their choice. And here's Deanne. She helps frustrated working women create a roadmap to exit the rat race, take control of their finances, and stop building someone else's dreams. That's it. So when they are out in real life or they're on a live and you're introducing yourself in your live, I know that on all of my lives, all of you guys that have ever heard me on a live, there at some point in the beginning of the live, I say, hey, my name is Carla Silver. I help network marketing professionals build and automate their businesses so they can rank up, make more money, but most importantly, have more fun and spend more time with the people they love most in their lives. Now, that is long, right? So guess what you get to do is you get to make it as long or as short as you want. And when you get really, 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 really good at answering that question and it's just rolling off your tongue, that's when you have the confidence to be able to, that's when that enthusiasm and confidence becomes so magnetic to your ideal prospect that they're going to turn around and do what my prospect said to me, like, whoa, I need you. And my sister needs you. And then of course, so I had to figure out how to deal with that. And we'll talk about that in a second. So why is this different? Well, it focuses on your prospect, that ideal prospect, that person, instead of some nebulous company, right? Or nebulous products or et cetera. And it talks about the problem that you solve and how your business and their life will be different by working with you. And you got to answer this question though. How would their life or their business change after working with me? What is the benefit of getting started with you and your business or buying your products? What is the result? To echo what Sonia was saying earlier, what is the result that they can expect? And most importantly, what is that, it'll make it super easy to connect or not. It's a filter that you can put somebody through. They'll either raise their hand or they won't. And that's something that I don't know, this introvert absolutely loves because I don't want to have to be sitting there explaining everything. So at the end of every time you intro yourself like that, your perfect prospect will know. And it's super clear right away if that person should listen to you or not. And that's fun because you'll know if you're prospecting in groups, in Facebook groups, or in or you go to networking meetings when you answer that question, you'll know pretty quickly if you're in the right group or not, or if you're in the right networking opportunity or not. And it's super attractive to your ideal client and repels in a good way, though someone that isn't your prospect. But you must be ready for this in real life. You must be ready to answer, oh, how do you do that? So make sure that you have, maybe you have an opt-in page, or you have your social media info, or you grab their phone numbers and say, I'll text you later. Because in that moment, when someone, at least for me, when someone is attracted to what I do not spend time explaining anything. I just hand them a way to get in touch with me, or a way for me to get in touch with them outside of that networking opportunity. Or I might send them over to check out my social media. And by the way, your prospects absolutely will check you out 100% of the time. So you make sure, if your social media is kind of making you cringe, that you go and clean that up, make that look gorgeous. So how many people, I want to be able to see the chat. Oh, Sonia or Jules, if you can let me know, how many people have ever seen Pink Panther? Any of the Pink Panther movies at all? I know they're kind of old now, but if anybody's seen,
most people have. I think we're all in that age category.
Okay.
It's like we know.
I was on something not too long ago, and they're like, what? So in the Pink Panther movies, and I'll explain why this is, because I'm going to give you some homework. And I did this to myself. So in the Pink Panther movies, Inspector Clouseau has a valet. His name is Kato. And as sometime in the movie, Kato ambushes Inspector Clouseau, and there's a huge fight. Like, mirrors are broken, the rooms are destroyed, something like, it's a huge, huge fight. And then there's crazy thing, then the phone rings and Inspector Clouseau goes, hello. But the point is he's ambushed by Kato. So here's what I did for myself when I realized that I needed to nail this. I needed to not be thinking about what I was going to say every single time someone asked me what I do. I needed to memorize the dang thing. So I asked my husband to Kato me and surprise me over and over and over again by asking me over and over and over again, what do you do? So wouldn't you know it, that day that I thought this up, asked him to do it, we're sitting at lunch and he goes, what do you do? And of course, what did I do? I totally stumbled over it. But what that did, it gave me the practice. And you don't have to live with somebody. You can have somebody randomly call you and say, what do you do? But it forced me to memorize it so that I could actually be in the conversation with somebody. So it just answered the question. And then I didn't have to be all stressed out about what was coming out of my mouth, what I was going to say, if this person responded. It just comes out. So my challenge to you is to grab a spouse, a kid, a friend, somebody to ambush you over and over and over again. If they make you crazy, just tell them to do it for 2 days or something like that, over and over and over again. So you've got this answer tripping off the end of your tongue so that you can be in that conversation and get that person started with you, or into the right, expose them to the information so that they can make a relaxed and informed decision. And they're not wigged out by some weird answer that you answered while you were at some fancy pants fancy pants place in Napa, but you answered some dumb way to answer that question. So I hope this was helpful. It's so interesting, Sonia, that I think that we were just in complete alignment, because it's just knowing yourself and knowing what you can do for somebody, and just being able to articulate in one quick sentence that is enormously attractive to your prospects. Ta-da!
Amazing, Carla. That was fantastic. And you would think that we actually coordinated our training, but we didn't. We had a vague idea what each was going to talk about. And when I saw Carla's slides, I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's absolutely the best compliment. Way to go. And yes, I see lots of applause, lots of great comments here. Thank you so much. Let me just bring up my slides again real quick. And Carla, your language examples are just genius. So cool. Yeah, really, really awesome stuff. Hold on, guys. So I tell you, it's all good till I get 5 windows open on this thing. And then doesn't want to drive. Hold on, hold on. There we go. All right. For some reason, my slides are in front of the thing that it shouldn't be. But the point I wanted to make about these language examples is, we shared very quickly just kind of typical ways you might use that if you're talking to a prospect about your products, about your business. But what you'll find over time, and I know I have some students here from the Business Academy, so you guys can chime in if this is true for you. You start to become fluent. Like, this is just the way you talk, and you really are becoming fluent in the language of your prospect. And you'll begin to use this language everywhere. And we really hope that you do, because when you're writing a post for your Facebook or your Instagram feed, there are just the most amazing opportunities sometimes to put magic words in that post, and people will respond to the post then versus just ignore it. When you're doing a Facebook Live video, like Carla was saying, the intro at the beginning, if you nail it, will get more people pausing and watching the video. And if you have a really good call to action at the end with some magic words, you'll have people actually message you when the video is over. If you're doing a presentation in front of a room, or you're at a networking event, like, there's just so many ways you can use magic words. My students have put them on business cards. They put them on their websites, on their Facebook profiles. Like, you start to see all these places that you can use this very, very effective language, and it just becomes completely second nature. So I know we went through a lot there, and we're definitely going to open up the mic to the floor and get some questions answered in just a moment. But I always like to do this. My students know I do this to them all the time, because one idea, truly one idea acted upon, can radically change your life. I'm sure you guys believe that. I know all of us can attest to that here, the mentors that are leading these calls with me. Like, I think we get really seduced sometimes, and like, we have to learn all this stuff, and we can sit through a training or read a book and have 20 great ideas, but we don't act on them. And those are useless ideas. One idea acted upon, one golden nugget that you actually take and go practice, can radically change your life and business. So I just want to help you leave this session with that kind of clarity. So let me know in the chat of all the things we covered, because there was a lot, but if there's one idea you absolutely want to be sure to remember and take away and go use after the session is over, would you please share that in the chat? And just remind yourself, like, don't just let this stuff stay in your head. Actually go write it out, do an exercise, share it with someone on your team, and put it into practice. If you do, I know for sure something's going to shift and you're going to have a breakthrough. So I see lots here about the benefits. Very nice. Shirley's going to do Kayleen's going to do the ambush partner example there, Carla. That's pretty wild. The emotional component, brilliant, Brenda. Yeah, that is so important. Just magic words in general, says Tate, she's going to practice those. Brilliant. And just think about that. Like, if you just took away one of those formulas today that Carla shared, or that I shared, and you actually used it in the next week or two, what might happen to your prospects? How might people respond differently to you? How might that impact your sales? How might that actually help you bring on a team member in the next week or two? Action gets rewarded. So we really want you, as you go through this series, not to just listen passively and walk away going, oh, that was really great information, but to actually just take even one idea and truly go test it out and use it. Because we know if you do, you will have a breakthrough. And this is something that I emphasize with the students in the academy all the time. It's like, it's small changes every week over time that add up to massive changes in your income. That's just how it goes. And I think sometimes we try to do too much, or we get overwhelmed and we don't do anything. And if you just learned an idea like this every single week, just one idea, and you actually put it into practice and went out and used it, imagine where your business could be in 6 months. It's amazing to see how much people's results can change if they're just consistent and they just take one idea and put it into action and actually practice and use it. 12 months from now, you could be rank advancing through your company. Things could be radically different for yourself and your team. And I think as a culture, we get really hung up on these big, massive goals and changes, and we lose sight of how important these small, consistent actions are. But small, consistent actions over time can take you and your business in a completely new direction in just a few months. So that's really what we want to encourage you to do. And I'm just curious, does that resonate with you here? Do you buy into that philosophy? I hope you do, because in our experience, it's really the only way to create consistent success is to just keep learning and using and practicing and just doing a little bit over time. That kind of consistency can pay off dramatically. Brilliant. I'm so glad that you guys buy into that. Well, real quick then, if you'll humor me, I want to just quickly tell you about this opportunity. Some of you know about it already, but in case you don't, I think you'll be upset